Sorry I was late. I don't have a lot to show tonight beyond what we talked about, or what I talked about at the town hall the other night. I know you don't need the reminder of this, but I did want to just remind you that we are focused at this point primarily on the site work. The roads are done, the sidewalks are done, the utilities are done. We're looking at the phase 2 and the phase 1 site work and the finishing touches on the roadways that surround the site. So the construction milestones we're looking at, again, these are similar to what I talked about before. We are currently installing the solar panels on the bridge building. We are currently installing the steel on the Bloomberg Center to hold the solar panels. So by May-ish, the solar panels will be up. By June, they should be operational, and by July, when we move in, they'll be working fully. We are working on the restoration and tree planting on the East Esplanade. I'll show you some pictures of that. And then, as I just mentioned, the final landscape work on the campus, which has really just started to take off. Over the summer, very simple, the completion of the phase 1 buildings, the completion of the public open space on the campus, and of course the reopening of the loop road that goes around the campus. And at this point, we're really looking at all three of those converging at the same time in the middle of July. So just a couple of pictures, the campus lawn, which is that horseshoe-shaped piece right in the middle. That's from a rendering, and this is a photo that was taken on the site just a few days ago. So you can see that's taking shape with the pavings around it and the plantings in the middle. You may recall this is the only sodded lawn on campus. We're not doing irrigation anywhere except for here. This is more, it's an ornamental lawn, but obviously we want people to play there and to be comfortable. So we're not seeding this, we're rolling outside, which will happen in about 2 weeks or so. And I think it'll be pretty dramatic. You should be able to see it from the street. This is a rendering of the campus plaza, which is a paved area at the center where all of the pieces come together. And here you can see it under construction right now. You can see them putting in the seat walls at the very bottom. This is the outdoor rendering of the outdoor classroom. This is the outdoor classroom taking shape. So it's really all coming together on the campus. They look a little dark, these images, but these are, we're planting just a little over 200 trees throughout the campus, including the street trees, the campus trees, and the East Esplanade trees. They're not all on site, but there are many on site. There's a big nursery. If you walk down to the southern end of the site or to South Point Park, you can see we've got cherry trees, we have the maple trees, the oak trees, and some of the ornamental trees as well. So we're kind of running our own nursery. And these are trees from a combination of New York, New Jersey, Connecticut. They've all been sourced from various different nurseries. And here you can see on the east roadway some of the street trees going in on the upper image. And on the lower image, what I was really hoping to show you here was the cherry trees planted on the East Esplanade. They're not planted yet. We're still prepping the site. Better to take the time to prep the site. And so if we were doing this in a week, we'd have cherry trees out there. But those are on their way. So, but this is if you peeked in while we were under construction on this area, this is where a lot of the construction trailers were and some of the temporary generators, and it was really used almost like a service area. So we've restored all that. We've taken out all of the soil. We've replaced it with horticultural soil, and we're going to be planting the trees as well as the grasses there. Bloomberg, just a couple of images. You've seen these renderings before, and the actual building taking shape behind it. This is an image along the west roadway, and here's the building taking shape. You can see that that concrete wall is the retaining wall for the plaza. I'm sorry, for the terrace outside of the Bloomberg Cafe. And the bridge building rendering, and the bridge building in reality. So it's all coming together. We have moved the fence. If you've been down there, you've noticed the fence is no longer on the western side of the West Road. It's now on the eastern side, so the whole West Roadway has been opened back up again. It's not open to public traffic yet, but it is open for pedestrians. That will open when the rest of the campus opens. We're working on restoring the East Esplanade, not only the plantings that I showed you, but also the structural issues at the seawall, where we had to take out about a 60-foot length of wall in order to, of barrier railing in order to do the barging. So we're working on restoring that as well. And I think that's all I have, unless there are questions.
I have a question.
Yes.
Are the trees gonna be labeled? Some of the trees on the island are labeled. I know it would be above and beyond, but
I noticed that. I think it's terrific. I don't think we have a plan to do that yet, but I think it's a really great idea.
I mean, it's also good for walking tours.
There's also a tree.
I'm sure it's one of the labels of the street.
What's that?
Yeah, Dr. Schwann.
Yeah, there's also a tree inventory. You know, there's an
Yes,
electronic tree
yeah.
inventory in every single
Yeah.
tree in Roosevelt Island. So
Yeah.
we do intend to provide the information on all of that. We have some people, Steve Newton, who's
Yeah.
tonight, and myself and others, are very passionate about these trees. So we want to make sure that yes, the answer is yes. We'd like to do that.
I mean, Dr. Ali Shwari funded that himself, but he connected with the Central Park Conservancy and found plates that would grow the tree and that were long-lived, and, you know, like $11 each or something. But they're lovely because they have the Latin origin, and it does help people get grounded and learn more as they walk.
Yeah.
It becomes more of a park land.
Right.
We are, within our system, we're inventorying all the plantings
Great.
also, so.
Just place them out of reach so they don't disappear.
Good point.
6 foot
Good
high.
point. Yeah, except for Pete.
Sure.
Oh.
So when will the campus open to the public? Will the co-location building open up at the same time as the academic building? And when will the restaurants open up?
So Floyd will answer the restaurant question.
The most important.
Yeah, so we're moving on to the campus. I don't know if we have an exact date yet. I think we're targeting the middle of July to actually show up for work.
July 17th is the tentative date.
Yeah. So
Open to the public?
well, yes and yes. So when we open, when our staff, when we move out there, the day that we all show up for work there, that's when the public space is open. That's when the cafe would open. Right? So the whole so that we're not occupying it as a private space. Our goal has always been to open the campus to ourselves and to the public at the same time. So that's our target. The fence needs to be up until then because it's still a construction site. But we don't want to open the public spaces on the campus until the buildings are occupied because we just don't think that's good practice.
And will the co-location building open at the same time?
Yes, it will. Now, remember, the co-location building, the first tenant, there's 2 tenants when it opens that we know of. One is Cornell, and we're leasing about 1/3 of the space. So we will be in the process of finishing the fit out of our academic space, testing out the IT systems, the AV, seating, all of that. So we will be using that space. I can't speak to the lessees that Forest City has and whether they will be occupying their space at the moment that it opens.
Has a food operator been found for that building yet?
Don't believe so.
For the, no, not at this time.
And the restaurant
And
opens.
the cafe is going to be opening, July 17th is the official opening of it. We anticipate full operations as long as everything goes smoothly. So I will actually be bringing them on for training beginning of July.
So when the campus opens, then we're operational with security,
Yes.
operational with food, public space, all of that.
Which fence did you need?
Well, the whole campus is surrounded by a fence, so that's what we would remove in the middle of July for people to be able to come onto the site.
Oh, I should say we've been joined by Jonathan Falcon, who's a task force member, and Gisele Marquez from the Borough President, Manhattan Borough President Gail Brewer's.
Have you seen anything like a construction schedule for the ferry landing?
No, what I've seen is probably the same media reports you've seen that say that it's going to open in August, but there isn't a specific day for it yet. So no, I have not seen anything.
Inshallah.
What's been in public.
Okay. Other
Yeah, no one else.
questions?
Any more announcements regarding job opportunities on the campus?
We're not at this time, so right now, everything that's advertised right now, we already, the security, cafe, the IFM, I anticipate hopefully having our partner selected by May 12th. It will be officially announced on May 15th, and they will start gearing up immediately, so those will go very quickly. Once we identify our partner, then Julie DeLay will work with them, get the information out to everyone of the site, location and everything.
Okay. Chris?
Is this the end of the presentation part, or?
Oh, yeah, it is, I'm
Oh,
sorry,
okay.
yeah, it is, yes, we are now entering the Q&A
Q&A
portion
part,
of our
okay.
program,
Thank you.
yeah, yeah, that's right.
There's